Hey, yo, it's your boy Gerald. What we got today, man? We got LeBron James goes off on toxic women and Ayesha Curry for disrespecting Steph Curry. Oh, this gotta be clickbait. I ain't gonna lie. You cannot pay me. You can't tell me that LeBron James literally called Steph Curry's wife out on a podcast. That is not possible. That is not how LeBron rules. PR, he doesn't want that kind of smoke on him. Why would he do something like that? But then what I am assuming is he talked about something in regards to women, and people are alluding to the fact that Ayesha Curry fits the description of said women. That's what I think this is about to be. But without further ado, let's just get started, because I haven't seen anything on this podcast. It's a crazy group of people. I know everybody here except you and you.
Listen, I sit in the locker room. I'm in locker rooms and shit now. But, it's a lot of women out here that's now kind of flipped the script.
They ain't go for it.
And some homies out here that's trying to be good too, and just trying to figure it out. And now they looking in the mirror saying, "Damn, what did I do wrong?" Okay. Homies, it ain't you. Because there's some cutthroat, ruthless ass out here right now too.
Ooh. LeBron, she started to not give a fuck about nothing. That retirement time is coming soon. You get into that age, man, where it's like, you can do whatever the fuck you want. I ain't getting out of here. You can't cancel me for shit. And if you cancel me, I'ma still be rich as fuck. So that nigga about to start talking reckless.
What's up, guys? It's your girl Riva, and I'm back again with another video. So most recently, NBA star, which I think even that title kind of would not do it justice, but
like
LeBron
NBA
James
star, that's
actually
it.
ended up making
the motherfucking
an appearance
GOAT. Get
on
that shit the fuck right. Who you think you talk? NBA star? Nigga damn near owns the NBA. You talking about star, nigga? The NBA is a LeBron star, bro. What are we talking about, bro? It's his league. I'm sorry, I had to drop my daily dose of LeBron glaze.
His wife's podcast, and during the conversation, they talked about various different things. Her conversations are very much like based off of the flow that they get in from callers, and there was a lot of things that he touched on, but one moment in particular in which he basically had called a lot of these women out here in these streets out, okay? And it was under my own assumption and impression that maybe there was a little bit of conversation in regards to what's going on right now with the Steph and Ayesha conversation. We're going to go ahead and break it down. So I'm going to go ahead and insert clips and then give you guys my thoughts, my feelings, and my opinions on this entire conversation as we go through this together.
Hi, what's your name? Where are you from? And what's your crazy?
My name is Jess Douglas, and I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. And my crazy is anything.
You in a relationship?
Well, I dumped him.
You don't? Why y'all broke up?
I don't know. It wasn't going anywhere. It was like 30 years of like
30
years.
So as we can see, on the panel, it was Kai Cenat as well as Phantom and Taco there. And
30 years and you just realized it wasn't going anywhere? Come on. Come on. 30 years and you feel like you can do better? 30 years? I just dumped him. God damn it.
Having like a guys edition of the podcast, and so they had the caller in, and the caller came in and basically said, what's your crazy? She said anything, and then talked about how she dumped a guy after being in a relationship with him for 30 years. So this then spawned a conversation during the podcast in which the one of the hosts actually asked a question to Kai Cenat, and that question was, do you know that the person or a girl that you're dating is the right one right away?
Boy question, guy question. How quickly do you know when it ain't going nowhere?
Like 30 days? First day. First day? In my
First day?
Yes. Nah. Like first day meet up. Like first date, you'll know.
First date.
First date.
First
date.
dates.
So this then sparked the conversation of, that a lot of men know, and we've heard this a numerous amount of times, that men know from their first, one-on-one interaction with you if you are somebody that they can put into what category, right? If you are in the category of sleep with, if you are in the category of sneaking link, if you are in the category of wife, girlfriend, potential, like friend zone, they know based off of their observations, in a first date kind of setting, whatever, situation that might be, if you are a potential suitor, wife, mother of their kids from that first meeting.
But you feel like you can know you're going to be with somebody on the first date.
100%. Forever?
No.
Yeah, man. You know gonna be
forever.
forever.
On the first day forever. You know you can you don't know forever. Yeah.
So again, naturally, they all gave their responses as to LeBron James and Kai Cenat being the two people who are actively in long-term relationships. All we know that LeBron is married and Kai Cenat is in a long-term relationship with his now girlfriend. And so, they were saying, it's just an innate thing that men are aware of. This then, sparked conversation with the host to ask, okay, well, how do people know when relationships should be over?
Yeah.
How do you know when it's over?
When it's completely over?
The reason why I thought this was very interesting,
That's
and I wanted
an interesting
to put a little
question.
tidbit right
How do you
here,
know when
is
it's
because
over?
as a mature married man, the response that LeBron James had to that question is very telling, because he said when it's really over, as in, alluding to the fact that relationships go through ebbs and flows. There's going to be, parts in the relationship
It's gonna be
where
down
you
times,
feel like
it's
you
gonna
might
be
have
up
had enough,
times.
or it might have
And you
been.
need to be willing to go through both times if you want to make this work and you want to make this long lasting. You can't leave the moment things get difficult or inconvenient,
Too much or whatever the case is. And so he's differentiating between the terminology of somebody who is dating and not used to being in such a long-term commitment like a marriage, and also setting the tone of the difference that you're going to go through things in marriages, and you might feel like it's overwhelming or too much, or you might want it to be over, but knowing that that's not truly the end of the partnership.
I feel.
And don't y'all think it's odd how you could be really into somebody and then off them the next day?
That's crazy. That's crazy.
See, that is the scary part.
It's problematic.
But off them like forever, or you just saying off them for that day?
You're gonna have your ups and downs.
You're gonna have it. If you're in a relationship.
Again, this is something that people who are going to be married have to understand, because there has been this facade of this picture perfect imagery of marriage. And that is one of the grandest demises of marriages of all time, is the anticipation of what people believe it's supposed to look like, what it's supposed to be, what it's supposed to entail. And, you have two people who are coming together, forming a union. You have your own background. They have their own background, certain, things that you've learned and picked up and observed from other people around you and them. And so there's going to be times that you are going to bump heads, and you might have, fluctuating feelings. Feelings are fleeting. But you have to make sure that you are aligned in purpose with somebody who understands that you guys are in this for the commitment and for the long haul of the relationship.
Like a lot of people, though, get off people quickly. Like, they be so into you, and then they be like, okay, I'm done.
Well, they went into you.
Yeah.
And you can't look at it. You can't think like
Can't even deny it, bro. That does happen.
Like, what did I do? Like, if they get off you that fast, then it was never meant to be in the first place. So
I love that she brought this question. I mean, this perspective.
Doesn't make it any less painful though, especially if you started liking the person.
To the conversation, because she's saying, like, there's some people who they see who are into somebody at one moment, and then they're quickly uninterested, and he's like, well, obviously they weren't really that into you. And also, just to piggyback off of those two things, there's also people who are addicted to the representative. They're addicted to the fun, the butterflies, the thrill, the excitement of somebody new and not knowing. And then once it starts to plateau into a comfortable, peaceful space, they go back and they're chasing that beginning flare with somebody new, somebody fresh. Like you do have people who have those situations. And just as LeBron said, obviously, number one, they weren't that into you. And number two, that's a them thing. You can't always internalize it to yourself. Now, if you are a person who is having that same, position happen to you time and time again, I would say that would be a space that you need to self-reflect. Because although it could be a them problem, it could also be a you problem. What energy are you giving to them that a lot of people are treating you in that same exact fashion? Maybe it's something that you're doing.
Thanks.
You can get off somebody for the day. You get off somebody for a couple of weeks. That's what relationship is all about. You know, y'all go through ups and downs, but like getting off you so in deep with somebody, and then you like, the next day you wake up, you're like, oh, this shit's trash. That's crazy.
Again, he's talking about the reality from somebody who's married, right, for a very long period of time, somebody who has multiple children with his wife and all these things, and even in the space that he's in, he's bringing so much clarity not only to the young man on the panel, but also to whoever is watching of like, you know, this is the truth of what it really entails. And this is a natural flow of marriage. Don't start panicking or think like this is normal.
Ladies, listen to the king. Did you hear? He say, look in the mirror and say what, king? Tell the ladies, because they need to hear.
You gotta look in the mirror and say it's not me.
Yeah.
You know, it's
the
not
ladies
me.
need to hear that.
Now, this is so interesting because, you know, he was making a generalized statement, right? And
It's
there's
really
men
not.
talking.
It's not. But it's so hard. It's hard to not think. I don't know what it is about us as human beings. We always try to, not always, because a lot of people have accountability issues for sure. But most of the time, and at least I know I have this problem, is I always put the blame on myself. If something didn't happen right, if something didn't go well, bro, I tend to never. I always put the blame on me. And honestly, I think that is still a good way to go about things, bro. Because you can't control another person. The only thing you can control is yourself. But then there are situations where you gotta come to the realization that this was really completely beyond you. There's nothing you could have done. This person was just not satisfied with you. This person just wasn't the one for you. And honestly, it's a good thing that this person has removed themselves from your life, because they were never gonna make it in the long haul. Now it's even worse when, you know, you actually built something for years with this person, and all of a sudden next thing you know, she doesn't feel it anymore and she wants to leave. That is where it really gets fucked up. But again, if this person doesn't want to be with you through thick and thin, man, through thick and thin, they're not supposed to be with you for the rest of your life. And it's sad that it took this long for it to happen, but it's good that it happened. It's not always on you. You're not, especially when it comes to relationship dynamics, bro. If someone wants to leave, let them leave. That's what they want to do. At the end of the day, you can't force somebody to be with you. You can't convince somebody to be with you. They're gonna have to want to do that themselves. You're both adults. So if they don't want to be with you anymore, that is their decision. There's no amount of convincing you're gonna do. Trying to fight it is even just it's ugly, because you're gonna fight, and that person's gonna feel like they're still not satisfied, and then they're gonna make your life a living hell because they settled, or they feel like they settled with you. Let them go. Just let them go.
This woman talking, he made a generalized statement, and you know, she was saying something as a woman to him, and he was responding back to what she said about somebody being on you and off the next. She was talking about herself, really. And so she then internalized his answer and say, you know, that's obviously not you, that's a them problem. And now she generalized the conversation to women. And so she's like, okay, ladies, y'all heard what he said. It's not you, it's these men out here. And, you know, when he decided to answer that, I think she was a little taken aback, because she was used to the conversation of maybe the pandering to women, or the fluffing women up, and, you know, not, you know, holding women to any kind of standard or any regard, or holding women accountable, you know. And so she was kind of like going in that direction, and he definitely quickly shift gears.
By the way, the men too.
Yeah,
the men too, because it's some cutthroat, ruthless ass out here right now too.
She said, hold on a second, get me some pearls so I can clutch them. Okay, she so quickly clutched her pearls, not only because of him also targeting the conversation to men having to look them in themselves in the mirror and say that it's not them, but also for the terminology that he used in describing a lot of these women out here.
Listen, I sit in the locker room, you know, I'm in locker rooms and shit now, but, you know, it's a lot of women out here that's now kind of flipped the script.
They go for it.
And, you know, some homies out here that's trying to be good too, and just, you know, trying to figure it out, and now they looking in the mirror saying, damn, what did I do wrong?
Okay.
Homies, it ain't you.
I'm not gonna lie, he said he's been in locker rooms, and then there's some really good men out here, and all of a sudden these women are flipping the script, and you have these really good men.
Unfortunately, the most obvious person we're looking at is Steph Curry. But at the same time, when is LeBron really in the locker room with Steph Curry? If it ain't the All-Star games, ain't really any other time. Can't remember last time they were both on Team USA. I really don't think it's Steph. I really do think it's probably even just little things like some of the dudes on the Lakers. I think, bro, this is something a lot of guys go through, especially successful guys, bro. Having the problem of girls wanting to be with you for the wrong reasons, and then trying to take half of your shit, bro. You don't know how to trust, and not even you don't know how to trust. Sometimes they just tweak and they're like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's like, bro, what's going on? It's a new generation, and again, it's something that happens both ways.
And who are looking around saying, well, what did I do wrong? You can't tell me, okay? It would have to be LeBron to tell me, like, hey, I really was not talking about him. But it would have to be LeBron alone to look me in my face and tell me he is not talking about Steph and Ayesha Curry. Sorry. I could be being a little bit presumptuous. I could be making
I just
my
don't
own
really think so.
Educated guess. He did not clarify and call names, but based off of the climate
but
of
it
conversation,
does fit the description of Steph and Ayesha. Although Steph is still Steph is really still. I don't know if he's really fighting the internet. The only thing I have is that thing he said to Killer Mike, saying, "Come on, man, this is not what it is. You're joining the narrative. Stop this shit." That made me feel like Steph is completely. I don't know if she's completely fine with what Ayesha is doing, but that makes me feel like Steph is still trying to do damage control and still trying to be supportive of his wife. But in that case, it's like, yeah, this dude Steph is really still trying to see whatever he can be, like how he can be the best husband for her and stuff, when it's really just seeming like you've already done enough. You've done more than enough, and she needs to be put in check, because this is getting ridiculous.
that is going on right now, currently today. I don't know when they filmed that, but even still, this rings the same tune of the Ayesha and the Steph Curry, where it seems like this man is a good guy, stable man, faithful man, family man, and it's still not enough.
I didn't want kids. I didn't want to get married. I thought I was going to be career girl, and that's it.
So you end up meeting your now wife when you guys were 14, 15 years old in a church group. You end up starting to date when you're in college. Why get married so young?
Why waste time if you found the right one, right?
After we got married, we found out we were pregnant with our daughters so quickly. I didn't even have time to think about what I wanted anymore. I have goals for myself. Like, this doesn't feel right.
I also have to say that I think that in a lot of these conversations about Ayesha and Steph Curry,
I'll say what I needed to say about Ayesha and Steph Curry.
That, you know, it's only because of Ayesha Curry and people are hating on her, or people just don't want to see her doing good, or because she's just a woman who's telling the truth. And that's not really what it is. I think the point of the matter is that, you know, men alone are witnessing situations that they can relate to. Doesn't matter how large or how different the scale is. They can relate to being in relationships with women and doing as much as you can, and her being okay with it, and then all of a sudden she wakes up, she's not okay with it, and still complaining over what exactly. Like, a lot of men can relate to that in dealings with women. So it's like, what do you want for real?
I now too have the same questions the late great DMX once had about these. What do they really want from
all of the things that Ayesha Curry, you know, kind of was complaining about in the podcast? She is actually leveraged in a position to be able to do all that she wants to do, and then some. Really? And more than that.
It's not enough.
She has nannies available.
Left,
she has
but
resources
it's not enough.
available. She has, I think, like, you know, some Michelin star restaurants. She has cookbooks. She has the ability to do way more than what she's doing. The only thing that it could be is that her name is not as big as his. That's the only thing it could be. I don't see how it could be anything other than that.
feel like people do need to hear that, because I feel like a lot of times the fear of being alone or growing feels so foreign, especially for men of color, that they just shy away from it and do what's easy. But what's easy typically is toxic.
So I definitely agree with what she's saying, right? I definitely understand the angle in which she's coming from. But I think there's a caveat to that conversation where, you know, men don't just stay because it's easy. Men often don't get support if they decide to leave. Okay, a woman can be the problem in the relationship and she leaves a relationship and people will blame the man. A woman can be a victim in the relationship and they're still going to blame the man. So women have a lot of support, resources, people who are going to take her side if she decides to initiate the divorce and leave the relationship. If she cheats, whatever it is, women get a lot of that support. Men don't have that same situation. Men are more community based. Right? And so everybody's going to kind of like, man, you took this responsibility, man. You're not supposed to leave your responsibilities out there. Like, men are held to a different standard. And it does leave them in that toxic, you know, kind of cycle, sometimes way longer than they should necessarily be there. So I understand what she's saying, but also it's not just a space that men are in, you know, sometimes because they necessarily want to be in there. It's that they don't have an out, that they've seen that men have created that out and been successful at that. It's normally always gone left. It's a rare cause where men can leave situations and, you know, have the strength alone to move through or push through without everybody else's support. And that's a very factual and actual truth.
I know I don't want to be alone. That's for damn sure. If I got to fight, fall, scratch, fight, whatever to keep mine, I got to keep it. I got to do what I got to do. I don't want to be alone. I'm an only child, single parent household. I knew for sure.
I love what LeBron said here, and you know why? Because this is something I tell women all the time, is that when you are in the vetting process, you need to get with somebody who wants what you want. And not trying to force people to want what you want, but by their actions, by the things that they're telling you, by the conversation that they're having, you need to align yourself. A lot of times people on a whole get into relationships and try to morph people into being something that they genuinely do not want to be. That's why I think it's so important to be observant, to take note of what they're saying, to, you know, get to know them for real. And if you know that person and if you love that person for who they are and you want to be in that, you know, have that person be in your life for the long haul, great. But don't try to get into that situation with somebody and their core values don't align with yours and try to make them be somebody else.
Yeah, no, that should never
But
work.
again, I love that he not only called out that situation, I love that he also, you know, called out women. Okay, again, we're gonna have to replay what it is that he said.
Because it's some cutthroat, ruthless ass out here right now too.
Yeah.
And again, I love that he said that. I love that he said that because
He
a
said
lot of
bitches,
times
right?
there's so many conversations
That's what he said.
from men who are married that are, you know, leading to the lines of women of, oh, you know, they're so this and they're so perfect and women can do no wrong and we should be bowed down and kissing their feet. I love that he did not lead into that or placate into that kind of conversation, because people always talk about, you know, the beauty of their marriage. And seeing the way that, you know, Savannah moves with such grace and poise, and, you know, she knows her space and she owns her space, you know, and people look at her and admire her in a certain way. Look at the way that her husband thinks. And so then hearing that, a lot of the conversations that you hear out here from these men who are red-pilled or, you know, holding women accountable or whatever, all of a sudden these conversations don't seem so crazy. Because here he is, this man that you look at their marriage in a certain way and you look at her a certain way and you see that he has an understanding of self-respect for himself. Men deserve respect. And
I mean, yeah, it's kind of, yes, LeBron saying it, so yeah, people definitely have more respect for him because, you know, he's actually been happily married for several years. When the red pill guy said, it seems very hateful, and it seems to be coming from guys who want to just keep fucking bitches till the end of time. So yeah, it's two different messages. It's the same message coming from two different people with two different levels of credibility, you know.
And women deserve respect. It's not women deserve respect, and then, you know, happy wife, happy life. It's not that same conversation. I love that he said that.
Sheesh. Well, no, good video. Good video by what's her name? Riva. Good video by Riva. Yeah, man, LeBron. I mean, it's interesting that she really just turned one little clip into a 17-minute video. That is very impressive that she was able to do that. Shout out to you. But yeah, no, LeBron keeping it a buck, man. I don't know if he's talking about Steph Curry, but Steph Curry is really one of the biggest examples of people in that situation right now, where he seems to be doing everything right, and it's not enough. It's not enough, and it's very sad to see. Again, you really just have to know who you're picking. Take your time. Don't be forced. Don't feel pressured into rushing things or jumping into anything that you're not fully prepared to do. If you're with somebody who's making you do things you don't really want to do, that might be a problem. That might be a red flag. Both of you should be allowed to take your time and allowed to make your own decisions. Because another thing I've noticed in a lot of these relationships is once they feel like they're not making decisions for themselves anymore, and they feel like they're doing things just for the other person, someone starts to build some kind of resentment. And unfortunately, it's like, okay, but you kind of do have to be selfless in a relationship, right? You have to be selfless in a relationship. It's not about you anymore. You're coming together. You guys both have obligations to both each other and your children and your family. So it's like, yeah, you can't have a problem with not being able to put yourself first all the time. But that's one way to know who's really down for a relationship and who's not. If you're willing to stick through it, even though you have to be thinking about the other person now, then you are a relationship person. The other person, if you're not willing to stick through it, then leave. You were probably not gonna be here for a long time anyway. So this is what it is. I know it hurts, it sucks, but this is the shit, things going on in life now. Because a lot of people are going off of like the trauma of seeing some of their parents. Their parents don't have good relationships, right? It looks good because they have not divorced, but a lot of times you can see the pain and the trauma and all the bullshit that's going on, and that bullshit is being passed down to you as well. So it's like you think, yeah, no. Once I start seeing little signs, I'm off it. But it's like there has to be a certain point, man, where you are willing to tolerate the bullshit and work through it instead of just either leaving or worse, not solving anything, and you and your partner are just being constant headaches to each other and building this hateful environment for you, your family, and your kids. That's something that's a necessary conversation that needs to be had to, because a lot of these things, the dynamic between the husband and the wife is so important when it comes to like the mentality and self-esteem of the children. But that's probably another conversation we can have some other day. Good video. That's the end of the reaction. Thank you very much for if you made it all the way through. Like, comment, share, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and I will see y'all in the next video, man. Hey, yo, Gerald, out.